High five for morale. Perfect. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today? I'm Sean.
And I'm Jen.
And I figured I had to change it up a little bit. We're gonna go a little relaxed, a little smoother.
This is our fourth video we're filming in a row, so I guess he had to change it up. I don't know. So...
Well, the first one I scared you.
Yeah, that's true.
So we're back with the third installment of the Let's Get Deep series.
So this is a game that he got us for Christmas. It's from the makers of What Do You Meme? And it's got 3 levels of questions. It's basically questions for couples. It's made for people to get to know each other, whether you're on your first date or you've been together for
Ever.
4, 5, 6, how many? I don't know.
17, 24.
We've been together a while. So ways to get to know each other. Some of these questions have really surprised us. Like, I definitely learned some things about you. So
the different levels?
Yeah, in the first installment of the video, we did the icebreaker questions, and that's like, just to get to know you, good for a first date.
Like chocolate or vanilla.
Yeah, like which do you prefer? And then there's the deep questions, which got a little deeper, and it went from, some things weren't that deep, like what clothing brand would you buy clothes from if you could only pick one, but then some of them were pretty deep. And now we're getting into deeper. So if we have to, we will omit a question if it makes us talk about something that we cannot talk about on YouTube, and only in that case, because we're not shy people. But if we're not allowed to talk about it on YouTube, we won't.
If we have to worry about Mama YouTube smacking us down, we won't talk about it. So. But you ready?
Yep.
All right.
Just adjusting.
Also, make sure you guys leave a comment below, answer the questions with us. We love to learn about you.
We want to know your answers to these questions. So,
you ready?
Yep.
That's the wrong pile.
You are correct.
All right. What is the moment you get nostalgic about, and why?
Like a lot of them. What? Like
they were like, we're gonna start deep on this one.
Yeah. What's a moment you get nostalgic about? Oh man. What about you?
Honestly, the feeling that I had when I was a kid, and I went and saw, we talked about this the other day, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming out of their shells tour, and I was the biggest Ninja Turtles fan. I love Ninja Turtles, and I was sitting there, and I remember seeing them come out on stage, and to me, I was like 10-ish, 9 or 10, all of a sudden, these people these characters that I loved were live. And they're performing and having fun.
That had to be.
And just the tingles all over your body were going like, oh my God, they're real. You know? So that's something I get nostalgic about.
Nice.
That feeling.
I get nostalgic about literally everything. I'm a very nostalgic, very sentimental person. One that's coming to mind right now, I can see the mug behind me. This is actually super, super cool. Might as well show it to you. So it says, like father, like daughter, oh crap. And then I had it made to look like me and my dad. And it really does. So I guess that just sparked a memory of me and my dad. I went to a tap dance internship with the American Tap Dance Foundation in New York one summer. And I had been going a couple years by then. My dad decided to fly up to New York and spend a day or two with me there. And I got to be in New York City and go to Rockefeller Center and experience New York with my dad, who grew up in New York City. He went to college in New York City. He was a kid in New York City. And so I got to experience New York with my dad. We went to F.A.O. Schwartz. I did a cartwheel on the piano with him. Or he took a video of it. He didn't do a cartwheel. But we sat at Rockefeller Center. We had bagels. We had pizza. We did all the things. And it was just really cool. Every time I think of New York, that's probably my happiest memory in New York. And I just get really nostalgic about it. So,
that's
yeah.
Cool. I like that. That's really cool.
I guess it was the mug above my head. All right. What is something you need advice on right now?
Wow.
How to... Wait, there's too many things. How to not take negative comments on TikTok personally. That's definitely one. How to not let it make me lose sleep.
How to accept a life-changing position.
Oh, there's that. you can do this. You can, I promise you can do this, okay?
They're like, what does that mean?
More info later. But yeah, how to not take negative comments personally. It's so hard. Like, we've only gotten a couple on this channel. I've gotten a few on my other channel, but I can get a little sassy with people when it comes to that kind of stuff. But on TikTok, people are just so mean. And I take it very personally, and I need to stop. So, okay.
Ready? Who is your go-to person for advice and why?
Who's yours? I don't know this. I mean, aside from each other, we usually ask each other a lot of things, but...
Google.
No, seriously.
No. Honestly, my whole life, my mom has always been my Jiminy Cricket. That's what I've always called her, because she would always hear me out and then just make me think about why I wanted to make that decision or whatever. So, how about you?
My dad. So, every single time I was just struggling with a decision or mad about something, I would call him up, and if I was being an idiot, he would definitely let me know that I was being an idiot. And then other times, if like I was just struggling to make a decision, he would help me like sort out the decision. In his absence, that person has really become my mom. And we kind of both try to figure out what my dad would have said, but also give each other's opinions. And I think I'm that person for her too.
That's awesome.
So that's been nice. I'm glad that our parents are our advice people, because that's just great that we both have such good relationships with our family. So, yay, they're getting deep. I almost cried twice now.
Yay.
Yeah.
How important is it to you, or how important is it that you surround yourself with people who have the same political views as you?
Can I be honest about this?
Yeah.
And I think your answer is exactly the same. Before the last year and a half or 2 years, I would have said not that important. I love diversity. I love differing opinions. I really have to retract that. It can be very important to surround yourself with people that are aligned politically the same way that you are, simply because sometimes those alignments and those values really show fundamental human differences. Differences that sometimes just can't be reconciled. And it's honestly, as someone who's typically the only one of her political mindset in the room at many of the places that I go, it can get kind of lonely. So I think it's actually really important to just feel like you're not crazy, you're not alone, there are other people that think like you. I think it is important. It is also important to have an open mind and be able to enjoy the company of people with differing political views. That's also really important, but I think it's important to also be around people that share your values. Did I get that right?
I agree. And to add to that is just make sure that, like, one thing that my parents have always taught me is everybody's going to have a different opinion about everything from, religious to political to all that. Anyone that you talk to, even if they have a different opinion, as long as they can talk to you like an adult and as a person about their political beliefs and about their beliefs on anything, then that's a good person to be surrounding yourself with.
As long as they can accept your point of view and you can accept theirs without being mean to each other, then that's great,
Yeah.
So, that was a big one. What is something that you don't think should ever be joked about? How real are we gonna get?
I mean, we can get pretty real on that one. Like,
the Holocaust.
Okay. Anything that has killed or oppressed a group of people in any way should not be joked about.
Yeah, I agree. I just had to go very specific with mine because it's a thing right now. So, here you go.
Thanks. Who was the last person to see you cry?
You?
Jen was the last one to see me cry.
Maybe Bento. Bento?
He's asleep.
He's right behind the camera, fast asleep. I'm surprised he's not snoring.
He is a little bit.
What is something about you that you think is important for your partner to know?
I'm a type B.
I I put my career first. Mm-hmm. That is very important for you to know, and he accepts that.
And that was something that we talked about before we even started dating. Like, I knew that as a friend of hers.
Yeah, I put my career first. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people put their family first or their relationship first. I put my career first every time. I put it above myself sometimes, which bad, but that's something that is very important for my person to know and accept. So
I think my thing is that I'm not as motivated as I should be, or I'm not as gung-ho about certain things than when I should be. But I try, and
I think actually more important than that is just it's important. It became really important that I knew that you have ADHD. Mm-hmm. Before I knew that he had ADHD, I got mad at him for all kinds of stuff that I just assumed were his fault. Mm-hmm. But they're not. Yeah. And because I know that, I think that's the most important thing that I've ever learned about you, because it allows you to like be more forgiving of things that you expect from somebody, but like your brain works differently, and I have to accept that your brain works differently from mine. It's not any better or worse than mine, it's just different. And when you accept that, you fight less. I'll just say you fight way less when you accept that.
And there's been a lot of like there's been there's a guy named Connor, I don't know his tag on TikTok, but he's explained a lot of things like quirks about ADHD that I've been sending to her.
He's been teaching me a lot about ADHD, so I understand it better, and it's been really nice to be able to understand the way your mind works, because like at first I was like, how could you not do this? You said you were going to do it. What, do you just not care? And I assumed that he just didn't care, and it took him understanding that he had ADHD and then understanding how to explain it to me for me to finally understand you do want to do it. There's just something in you that stops you from doing it. You know? So that's the most important thing that I've ever learned about you. And that's way deeper than mine. So,
what is the most important trait in a friend and why?
I'm going to say acceptance. I want to be accepted for who I am by my friends. Usually I would say honesty, but I think in a friend, I think it's acceptance. Let me be me. For all of my flaws and all of my great qualities, let me be me.
I agree with that. I think that is the big one, is acceptance and understanding.
Yeah. The minute that somebody is your friend but they don't accept you for who you are, they're not your friend. I think that's the most important thing.
I agree.
All right, if a fortune teller could tell you one thing about your future, what would you ask? That's so hard.
It's going to sound, everybody's like, oh, I wouldn't want to know that. I would want to know when I'm going to die, so I can live every day to its fullest.
I would want to know when my family was going to die, so I don't miss anything. I know everyone's like, so just don't miss anything now. And it's like, it's different. Like, obviously you have to live your life. You have to go to work and stuff. But like when this has happened to me, okay? Like when somebody is like their time is like not as long as you think it is, because they don't tell you that it's not as long as you think it is. There's a lot of time you could have been there and then you weren't because you didn't know. So I think I would ask that so that I know, so that I can be there. I hope that makes sense.
I think it makes sense.
I make an effort to be as present in my family's life as possible, but like obviously I live in a different city and we got to go to work. But like if I knew that I can't just move home, okay? But if I knew that something bad was going to happen in the next year, I would move home for a year, you know? Like that's what I would ask. Does that make sense?
I think so. I think it makes sense. This is like, how can we make you guys sad?
I'm like, I almost cried 3 times by now.
What is the most important lesson you learned as a child?
As a child?
Don't cut towards yourself.
Really? That's yours? Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
I think all of the important lessons that I learned as a child, I learned from Star Trek. I know that sounds stupid, but like that the human race is like all equal and or should be all equal, and that politics can be used for good, and that like no seriously, Star Trek teaches you like beautiful lessons, absolutely beautiful lessons. And so yeah, I think those are the important lessons I learned as a child. I don't know, that's probably very vague and probably not okay, but like I learned a lot about humanity and the way humanity should be from Star Trek as a child. And then reiterated by my parents because we all watched Star Trek together, so... I also learned George Carlin's 7 Dirty Words when I was little, and that's an important lesson, too. I learned you can't say those when you're not at home.
I learned that I'm different. And that's okay.
That's an important lesson.
It's okay to be different. So, yeah.
Well, I like you because you're different.
Thanks. I like me because I'm different, too.
Oh, this is a PBS special now. Between us, who has better taste in music? Yeah, it's true. Look, I like the music that you listen to, but it all really sounds the same after about 5 minutes, so...
I listen to a lot of people that have a similar style, and then I listen to a lot of electronic music, so that also... But yeah, her. She's very eclectic when it comes to music.
Between us, who takes longer to order at a restaurant? I don't think so. I'm going to disagree with you. Do you want to know why?
Why?
I always get the same thing. I always get the same thing, and I know how to order it. It may take longer in number of words that come out, but I always get the same thing, and I never need to decide. You, on the other hand,
I take forever
have to decide. So you do.
Okay.
I know, I sound like a boring person, and I always get the same thing, but some restaurants only have one thing I like, so.
I concede.
Let's do a couple more.
All right. Between us, who makes more of the decisions? We're going to go back to the I'm a type B.
Big decisions we make together.
Oh, wait,
1,000%.
We all make them together, but she normally has the initial answer, and then I'm like, okay, cool.
Or I ask the initial question. I go, hey, we need to figure this out. Like, hey, this wedding planning thing, we should probably do some today. And you're like, yeah, okay. But he is very involved in the wedding planning for anyone that's curious. What event from your childhood most shaped who you are today? It's not an event. It's Star Trek. I'm not kidding. I'm not watching Star Trek very much shaped who I am today, for better and for worse.
I had 21 surgeries by the time I was 18.
So it literally and figuratively shaped you.
So that was probably the big one, because that taught me a lot about myself and how to be humble when it comes to things that are good in my life that happen. Yeah.
Cool. All right, one more. Hopefully it's not that, like, crazy. What's the most spontaneous thing you've done? Okay, good question to end on, because some of this got sad. So, what's the most spontaneous thing you've done? Oh, that's hard. The most spontaneous thing I've done. Oh, I know. Quit my job, moved to a city I'd never lived in before, and joined a band. That is the most spontaneous thing I've ever done, and I didn't hesitate for a second. I barely even thought about it. I wanted it, I did it. And here I am.
I joined the Army.
Oh, that was pretty spontaneous, actually. You didn't think about that for that long.
I went in one day. It was a Monday. I went in, and I just wanted to see what they were offering. And then the recruiter lady was like, well, they're still open. Why don't you go take your ASVAB? I was like, all right, cool. So I went and took it. And so on my way back, they were like, oh, well, what was your numbers? And I was like, well, the guy told me not to open it. And she goes, open the letter. I was like, okay. So I opened it. They start pulling up. I go over there, and then they start showing me the jobs that were available to me. Next day I go in and I started talking to them about them. A couple days later, maybe a week later, I signed my paperwork.
Everyone else answering this question is like, I got a tattoo, I went skydiving, I was about to sing the song, I went Rocky Mountain climbing. Us were like, we changed our whole lives. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we changed the entire course of our whole lives. I moved cities, changed jobs, joined a band, gallivanted around Europe, whatever. He's like, I joined the army. I signed my life away. It's fine.
Yeah, that's probably the most spontaneous, because I think within a week or two, I had signed my paperwork.
But both of those spontaneous decisions led us here. Mm-hmm. They led us to Jacksonville, Florida. And, well, mine literally led me to Jacksonville, Florida. Yours led you a few other avenues first, but eventually to here. And now we're sitting on our bedroom floor
looking at you guys.
Vlogs. So I'm grateful for the spontaneity that we had. Mm-hmm. So that's a good one to end on. Yeah. Sorry this one got a little emo there, but
a little sappy.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I had a lot of fun with these. I hope you guys did too. If you guys want us to do this series again, or if you want us to do one particular, like Icebreaker, deep or deeper, it's let us know. We'll do that, or we'll find other games to play. Super, super fun. Todd and Amy, when you guys come over for a fire pit, we'll play this with you. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
So.
But thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. If you are new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are on that road to 1,000 subscribers. We're slowly getting there. So help us get some gas in the car so we can get there. But also, if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you enjoy sappy stuff, hit that thumbs up. If you enjoy funny and amazing content, make sure you hit that thumbs up and subscribe. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. It's always a blast. I'm Sean.
And I'm Jen.
And we're out of here. Bye.